at here is how to write a professional business formal email. Now, many of us are used to sending emails to our friends and, for promotions, providing information, etc. But they're not really formal or professional. Um, so when we are required to do this in a business setting, there are some things that we need to consider, and we're going to hopefully quickly have a look at it. First, what we're looking at here is your basic email screen. I'm using Gmail, which is the commonly used platform. Many companies have their own in-house email designs. It depends on which company you're going to be working for, but generally, most people will use Gmail, so I'll use it as a platform. They all follow a similar style. On your left, you'll see a compose button, your inbox and other folders, etc. We're not going to get into the actual technical aspects of how to use all the features of Gmail. We just want to look at how to compose a professional email. And you'll see here there's a calendar and your Google Keep notes and tasks and so on, and other features that Google provides. So when starting your professional email, you're going to go to click on Compose, and a box will pop up and it will say New Message. Now you'll notice CC, BCC, and you have, let me just enlarge that, right? CC, BCC. Two there, the subjects for what the topic of your email is. CC means carbon copy. So when you CC someone, you're sending them an email that was sent, but that they have a copy of. BCC is to blind copy. Now, BCC is used basically when you don't want to include everyone's names on the list. You BCC someone to privately let them know that you've sent this email, and so that everyone in your company is on the same page. So blind copy means you've sent it to someone like your supervisor or another person who is involved in your particular situation. At the bottom, you have some tools, right? So let's say we are going to send an email. So in the toolbox, we're going to type the person's name. So maybe we'll type, let's try R. Heidelberg College of Higher Education.ac.za. Then we're going to click in the subject box and we're going to click let's say this person bought a box of olives and they need to pay and collect their olives. So we want to send them a professional email from a company that is located on our campus. So we're going to use a subject. We're going to say collection of olives and payment in cash. That is our subject line. Now, the subject line is very important, right? It determines whether the person receiving the email will open the email or end up putting it in trash. And they say you should keep it between 6 to 10 words, and it must be very specific, right? So basically, you're looking at the email, I see collection of olives and payment in cash. Like, oh yeah, the person reading this is like, oh, we ordered olives and they probably want us to pay in cash, right? Okay, so that's your very first important aspect is the subject line, right? Remember, 6 to 10 words and very specific. Next, we have the salutation. Now, this is where many people I've found in my experience mess up. When you are using the salutation, it's how to greet. And since the business email is formal, we must use the person's title. So there are different titles. You have Mr., Ms., Miss. Generally, we don't use Miss or Mrs. We use Ms. MS. Dot because it's more respectful, and you don't want to seem rude because we don't know whether the person is married or single, and that's not relevant anyway. So if the person has a professional title, like a magistrate or your professor or so on, you must use their title. This is very important. So you will begin your letter. In this case, we generally use dear. Okay, so dear Dr. This is me. I do. Now, after the person's opening salutation, go comma, right? Enter. You leave a space. So, dear Dr. Naidu, comma, you leave a space, and then you start with your a preliminary greeting. For example, I trust you are safe during this say pandemic. Okay, I trust you are safe. Or no, let's fix this a little bit, right? Let's say I trust you are keeping safe. Okay, trust you are keeping safe during this pandemic. Okay, so now we've established a kind of rapport, right? It's still professional. It's not too personal because everybody's suffering. It's a crisis. It's a pandemic. So I trust you're keeping safe during this pandemic. Now, what we want to say is that your olives are ready for you, and you need to pay us in cash, right? So we've established the salutation. We've greeted him. Now we start with the main body of the text, right? It should have a short paragraph, one or two or three sentences. So you want to say, get straight to the point and be as clear as possible. Your olives are ready for collection, right? Please pay in cash at the checkout counter, right? So your olives are ready for collection. Please pay in cash at the checkout counter, right? So we've got our text, and we've stated clearly in our main body what the whole point of the email is. So you can add extra information. Olives are placed in plastic bags. Please ensure you have enough room in your vehicle for transportation of the quantity, let's say, you purchased. Okay. That's just by the way, and should you not be able to pay in cash, EFT is also accepted. Details will be provided by the checkout personnel. Okay, right. Now you'll notice there were the autocorrect spelling correct was busy as I type, but sometimes it's not there, so you should just double check, right? If I made a mistake on purpose, but autocorrect, as you can see, fixed it and other mistakes. If it doesn't, you need to go back and check, right? So this is the main body of the text, and at the end, you will sign off with yours sincerely, comma, and then at the end we have our signature, uh, your name, etc. See if I can just move this out the way. Here, so I'm just gonna sign my name and whatever your name is, Mr. Anderson Hall. Okay, so that's our email. This is the proper format and structure. You can create your own signatures and people get fancy with the emails, but for a professional email, this is what we're looking at. Now, when you construct your email, just to review very quickly, like I said, please, your subject line, 6 to 10 words, very specific. Your title of the person you are addressing, also very specific. Please be careful to use the person's correct title. If the person is Dr. Naidu, don't call them Mr. Naidu. If the person is Ms., don't say Miss or Mrs., right? Please make sure you use the proper salutation when you start your email. There's a comma after and you leave a space. Please never send a blank email. That is incredibly rude and incompetent. It shows that you do not know how to send a proper business email, right? Sometimes I've had students do this as well. They just send me their work via email. There's no subject line, or sometimes there's a subject line, but there's no text, and it's just an attachment. Please don't do that. Please write something in the email that you're sending, excuse me, the person to, the email to the person. Write something. So you write their salutation, comma. Um, I trust you are keeping safe during this pandemic. That's important. And your main paragraph, the content, the heart of your email, your closing greeting, yours sincerely, and your name. Okay, now once you've done it, before you go and click on send, which is going to send this, you must double check for spelling mistakes. We've put the comma in our, there are no spelling mistakes. We've already checked. Auto check has checked. You check to make sure. Sometimes auto check misses a few things. Then you go and you check again to make sure that your grammar is right, right? So I trust you're keeping safe during this pandemic. Your olives are ready for collection. End of sentence, next sentence. Please pay in cash at the checkout counter. Good. Olives are placed in plastic bags. Please ensure that please ensure you have enough room in your vehicle for transportation of the quantity you purchased. Good. Should you not be able to pay in cash? Okay, we should put a little comma here. Punctuation is important. EFT is also accepted. Details will be provided by the checkout personnel, right? Yours sincerely, Mr. Anderson Hall. Beautiful, simple. Are we happy? Spelling is fine. There's no problems or anything. Okay. So good. So let's say we want to highlight something. You'll see this little bar. You can change the font type, right? They have different font types that are available to the font type that you prefer, um, and so on and so on. You can do that to your heart's content, but generally for professional emails, keep it simple, keep it clean, right? So as you can see, once we're done now, and we go and we click on send. And voila, it has sent. It says message sent, undo view message. Okay, and that's our professional email. Once again, please remember subject line 6 to 10 words. Your salutation, the person's title is very important. The main body, get to the point, straight to the point, clear text. And your signature sign off, yours sincerely, your name. Okay, if you want to include your contact details at the bottom, you may. Some people put this in. It's up to you. Okay, and that's what I will be expecting for you to produce in your assessment based on the assessment instructions I have given you. Thank you. Good luck.